All right, that's where I'm at so far. Just the basics. Got the black and red feed coming in. Same way it did from the factory. Cut it nice and tight. I'm probably going to end up with a good amount of resistors across the top portion. One part of it will have the current keeper, whichever part's lowest. I think the board to the outside lets it sit just a little bit lower. And then on the opposite side is probably where I'm going to put most of my wires, let them zigzag, and put the resistors in there. So I should have enough room there. Had to extend these pickups just slightly. It's not bad. I'll put just a tad bit of CA on the shrink tube there and got it pressed up against there, so that's all good. Speakers are ran in series. If you do 3 or 2, you have to do it in series. You do it in parallel and you most likely will blow the amplifier. So that's the basics so far. The wires that were coming up off the engine, the colors were correct, which I've many times hooked it up thinking, yeah, red's got to be positive, and it's not. But in this case, it is. So, what else? Well, not much. Like I said, I didn't have to take any material off the ends of the board, which is good. It fits really nice. It's got a strip of electrical tape underneath it. When it's done, this will be taped down. But I've got all the functions I need to get to, so it's got a little wiggle. Not much at all. So I was just gonna, I've already had it up. I programmed just basic things. The prime mover sound and playing around with a couple horns. But I've got a ways to go. I mean, all that's really left is the lighting. And I'm only going to be using 2 of these lights. A lot of that will be experimentation with which resistors I use. And so hopefully, if somebody follows my footsteps here, I'll have all that figured out. Where I put the LEDs, what resistors I'm going to use. I ordered some, but I realized I've got a few of they're called, they're from Miniatronics, and they're called Yellow Glow. And they really do give off it's not yellow, but it does look like an incandescent bulb, and it does favor yellow quite a bit over white. And that's what I want to use. I showed previously this little piece on top. And when I looked through my little resistor box, I've got 2 of the 3mm Miniatronics Yellow Glow incandescent LEDs. And so I can test it at any time. I'm about to wrap it up tonight, but I'll put that on there. They come with, I think, 2 different resistors. I've always used just the 470 ohm. So that's probably what I'm going to do. And then wrap the entire thing with heat shrink and or black paint. And the front will probably be a lot easier. But it is crazy bright, so I'm gonna have to test it and just turn the lights out and turn just the front on and see if there's any bleed through. I'd be really surprised if there isn't. Worst case scenario, I'll put a tiny bit of foil on the roof of the cab. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But this is where I'm at now. It's just finished up the rear trucks and the just a little bit of routing. I think I'm going to call it a night, and then come in fresh and tomorrow and play around with that front headlight and just see. I mean, I can do the class lights and the walkway in the front anytime I want to, but again, that's going to be when I figure out what resistor I want to use for the yellow and green, which is the class lights. And I've already mentioned this. And then the green, I think, is for the walkway light. Whatever resistors I end up with there. Then on the back, I have a feeling with the way that I'm going to, do the resistors on all this in here, that the brightness is going to differ. So it'll be fun. But once I get it worked out, then I'll pass that info on. And if you follow suit to what I do, then it should be very simple. I got my 402 resistors in today. They're classified as white. The ones I was testing with before, they were just too much on the blue side. And I don't care what camera I use, they still come up a bit bluish. Just like this wire is bright green. Well, it looks more green here, I guess. But one of my other videos, it favored, and it kind of does, blue. I'm not quite sure why it does it, but anyway. Now it's getting down to the nitty gritty and working out the little things. And it'll just take some patience. I'll get the front end going, because I know exactly what I want to do there, and then the shell may be going on and off 100 times, but I'll just keep on. Well, you know what I can do is, once I've got the front squared away, and this is good for you guys too, again, if you're going to follow what I do. Since I took this off here, once I have my LEDs in place, they're going to feed right up through here, and I can just play all day. I'll stick the shell on there, make sure the boxes are in for the couplers, because you want to make sure that the shell is as perfectly aligned as factory would have it, and your light pipes and everything are lined up with your lenses and everything back here. And then, yeah, I mean, I'll play around. I have the wires sticking up. I won't solder anything. I'll just grab resistors one after another, and I'll have a hot wire sticking up, and then the ground wire sticking up from, I don't know, just say the class lights. And the class lights in the front will be done, so I'll just keep going through resistors. I've got pretty much every one they make, so I'll find a match where when I'll have the lights dimmed quite a bit, and look at the front, look at the rear, and if I can't hardly see a difference, then that's the one I'll go with. And then same with the number boards. And then I'll wrap it up by figuring out how I want to put the rear main light in. I'm thinking about just making a styrene piece that sits on here that's exactly the contour of the back of this board, and just stacking that right on here. And I've got some black styrene, and so to block off any light from the lower levels, because on the board the LED for the rear light is on top of the board, so that works in their favor. So that light from there is not getting to the bottom in any way, shape, or form. So when I do all mine, I'm not sure if I need to go with that many. That one all the way to the right, that's your walkway. I'll probably just stick one close to it. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's on it or just near it. I'm going to play with resistors till I get it. I'll get it as bright as possible, because you can always tone it down. You can't brighten it up. I mean, within reason. I mess with specific type of LEDs, and I know what their limits are. And if I get to the limit and it's not bright enough, then that's a problem. So it's always better to go bright and then dim it back. So I think that bottom one, I'll use just one. That goes down for the rear walkway. The two that are on angles, those are class lights. And I don't know. I don't know if I might be able to get away with just the one. I mean, they're so close to each other. If I could glue it to this little back wall facing back toward those light pipes. It'll be some experimentation. But like I said, when it's all said and done, I'll show you what worked and what kind of gave me the same light. You know, class lights, walkway, and number boards, and headlight and rear light. Which I don't think that'll be as much a problem, because that's a straight shot. The LED will be pointing toward the front and one pointing toward the back. There's just so much light coming off that thing that I gotta make sure it just doesn't bleed into everything else. That's all. All right, till next time.